The stage version of Doctor Who. That's a lot of fun.
The ultimate adventure. It's going everywhere, including Northampton and Wolverhampton, all in this region.
Ooh. I think we ought to see a clip of you in Doctor Who.
Oh,
As
yes.
if we need reminding of who you are. So here we go. Take a look at this.
What was that?
Some small rodent?
It's shark teeth and rabbit saliva.
Not on Necros, or at least not rabies. Be at peace with the world.
Now, how long were you Doctor Who?
I was Doctor Who about 3 years, in fact.
Did you enjoy it?
Enormously. Oh, it's a great job. It's one of those jobs that every other actor in Britain comes up to you and say, you've got the luckiest job on television, you son of a gun. It's a super job to do.
Who do you think it appeals to nowadays, though? Is it children or adults?
Well, I think it goes across the whole spectrum, really. I think all those people who watched it 25 years ago when it started are now forcing their own children to watch it willy-nilly, and they kind of get hooked. It's like any television. If you watch it enough, you kind of want to know what's happening next. And I think... were you scared? Did you hide behind the sofa?
I was terrified of Doctor Who when I was a child. I used to find it... I used to hide behind the cushions. I used to leave the room.
I have to say, my own wife, when I was doing a story with the Daleks, refused to come into the studio because she was frightened of Daleks. And she's a grown woman, folks. Sad, isn't it?
What about this stage play? Is that scary?
It is, actually. When I first heard they were doing a stage play, I thought there's no way they can actually transfer it, and I was very kind of sceptical about the whole thing. But having seen it with John Pertwee in it, I realised that so much more can be done now on stage than I ever thought possible, with lasers and ultraviolet lighting and sound and the old standby of the old smoke pumped in from everywhere. And they create, at one point, a kind of time tunnel thing that goes off to infinity, and we walk down it. When you're on stage, you feel a right prune, because it doesn't look right at all, but from the audience, it looks wonderful.
Ooh.
Stunning.
You have done much more than just Doctor Who. We have another little clip of you.
You have.
I hope this isn't going to upset you. It's a few years ago, and it's from Maddie with Love. Take a look at this.
Yes.
Malcolm broke the law. He should be punished.
He wanted to be.
Oh, you've got it every which way, haven't you? Oh, someone to miss in Maddie, dead before her time. Someone to blame in Malcolm for dispatching her early. Someone to side with in Neil and Gordon, who'll feed your other wicked sense of bigotry till you burst at the seams. Then lots of us on the fringe to mock and spit at. Judy for her down-to-earth common sense. Nick for not being part of that exclusive club. Sue for owning your home.
And you for sticking your nose in?
And I thought you were besotted by your father.
I was. He left, I grew up.
I only hope your daughter doesn't turn against you.
I'll never give her cause.
Oh, strong stuff there.
I had hair then as well.
What was it, by the way?
What, the character or the programme?
The programme.
Oh, it was an afternoon weepy on ATV in about 1981. Nari Dawn Porter dying of cancer, and Ian Hendry, her husband, who coped. Oh, and I was the son of his girlfriend after he coped rather well.
Yeah.
Yes.
You were also a bounder, weren't you, in The Brothers on the Beat? Now,
Yes.
I loved that programme. Well, remind us of
You must have been a little tiny girl when that was on.
That'd be a creep.
1976 that finished. I played Paul Merony, who was a kind of prototype JR, and was voted actually by the readers of that national newspaper, of course, the most hated man in Britain.
Good heavens.
It's quite an accolade, that, isn't it, really?
Yeah. I often ask people who sit on our couch here, some stars like yourself, what do they prefer most of all, the stage or telly? What's your favourite?
And they all answer the stage, don't they?
They do. Yes, I must say they do.
And I'm going to be different. Much as I enjoy doing the stage, because I'm doing it at the moment, yes, I do enjoy it, but if I really had to choose one or the other, I think I'd find it very hard to turn my back on television.
Gosh, I do find that... Why is that?
Well, it's... You do get the feedback on the stage, which is nice. I mean, if an audience likes you, it's a wonderful feeling. But you get a combination of things in television which I respond to. There's all the technical things, all these cameras around here that you have to cope with. You have to play the part as well and ignore all that, but at the same time be aware of it. And I like those extra disciplines. I like the fact that you've got to be aware that other people have got to do their job as well. On stage, you're in total control. You go on that stage, and whatever the director's told you to do, you can do what you like. He can shout at you afterwards. There's nothing he can do about it at the time. Whereas in television, you've really got to be aware of everybody else doing their job. And I just like that stimulus. And I like the fact of moving on to a new thing as well.
Well, look, you're going to be here, obviously, throughout the rest of the programme, but we're going to change the mood slightly, because it is time to look at ITV's just there. But do you like
Yes, I
Brookside?
used to watch Brookside occasionally. There's another one of the dip in and dip out. And as new characters come in, I kind of lost a bit of interest. It depends on time, largely, with me. But when I am free and around, I do watch it, but it's not one that I'm kind of hooked on.
I am genuinely surprised that you do have time to watch telly, because most people in your line of work just don't have the time.
I know, it's dreadful, isn't it? It's when you're working in telly and you get home round about the kids' bedtime and you just put them into bed and you come down and you sit down for that drink, and that's when these things are on. So that's when I get to see it. But when I'm working in theatre, I don't.
What other programmes do you like?
I like things like Map and Lucia was a great fondness of mine.
That was on Channel 4, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was repeated on Channel 4. I don't know whether was it Channel 4 in the first place.
I think it might have
They
been,
were
but anyway.
wonderful, over-the-top performances in that.
That was great.
What else do I like? The Bill. I think The Bill has transferred very well. When I heard it was going into twice weekly half hours, I thought, well, that's killed a good programme.
Yeah.
But it hasn't. I mean, they've actually... I lost an admiration for the integrity of the people making that programme. But it's a really good show.
Right, well, we have to move on now to another Doctor Who, and I can't, of course, the other famous one, there were many of them, was what about John Pertwee?
Well, Doctor, what is it?
I've no idea.
205.
Variable mass. That's interesting.
Orbital flight path now.
Is it going to hit us?
UFO entering atmosphere now.
Compute target area.
Check.
Yes. Somewhere on the southeast coast, I should imagine. When Sean Sutton, the head of programs, offered me the program and offered me the part, I said, yes, well, I think I'd like to do this, but take me out to lunch. And he took me out to lunch, and then I said, I'm not quite sure, take me out to dinner. So I got about 3 lunches and 2 dinners out of him. And eventually I said, yes, I'd like to do it, but how do you want me to play it? And he said, as John Pertwee. And I said, well, who the hell's that?
And another character John's made his own is the lovable Wurzel Gummidge.
You are a real scarecrow.
Of course I'm a scarecrow. What does I look like, the King of Russia?
I thought you were real.
But scarecrows is real, when they wants to be.
I'd had this voice, which I'd been doing on radio years and years before, with Eric Barker and Waterlogged Spy. I played a character called the Postman. He used to say, well, what does it matter what you do, as long as you tear him up? And it was a catchphrase time of steam radio. And then I used it in a couple of movies afterwards.
Now then, about this here sitting down.
It's easy. Look.
Do you like Wurzel Gummidge? He's rather cantankerous.
It's my favourite character I've ever played. But he's not only... Wurzel has the great advantage of being able to change his head every 10 or 15 seconds if he wants to. And he has the ability to make people cry, which I like, because I like making people laugh one minute and then making them cry the next.
Oh, thank you very much, Your Honor.
I'm an avid television watcher, yes. I like watching certain programs I like. There's a certain type of American program I hate. I hate plastic American programs, but I like good ones. I love Taxi. I used to think that was the best and funniest thing on television.
What about soaps? Do you get time to follow any soaps?
No, soaps. No, not really. No, I don't like soaps. I liked Soap. That was wonderful. I like... now I like Cheers. I think that's a great series. There are certain TV series, and American TV series, which I enjoy enormously.
Colin.
Wasn't he wonderful as Wurzel?
Yes, he was.
I mean, he was wonderful as Doctor Who as well. And he had to fight so hard to get that programme made as well. And we'd have been deprived of that wonderful performance if he hadn't had the energy to kind of drive it through.
Yes, indeed.
Really was smashing.
Right. It's time now to have a look at what's coming up this week. Might encourage your letters, because